Pisces, hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to have you here always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at your energy for the next week via the tarot, astrology, and any channeled messages that come through. So let's get into it, Pisces. We have just moved into Aries season, up and running. We're coming in on a new moon in Aries this week, which is exciting. It's a new moon solar eclipse. So solar eclipses herald the time for change, specifically external change. There's been a lot changing in our environment in general. Pluto moving into Aquarius. We're kind of navigating and dealing with some of the tension that often arises when transitions are being made. And it's not all easy, right? Pisces season, no shade, just brought up a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings, a lot of triggerings. And now that we've moved into Aries season, we're finding out how to rebalance that, right? How to take the information that we learned, that we saw during that time, and actually like implement it for our good, for our value in our life moving forward. Right now, Venus and Mercury are both in retrograde. They're going to be in retrograde through middle of April. So it's going to be highlighting relationships, communications, lack of communication, disconnect, etc. Places that like things really just aren't vibing for us, and we do need to make some adjustments. You know, Mars was that value of being patient, learning those lessons when Mars was in retrograde, beginning of the year. And now that Venus is in retrograde, it's kind of, again, that same theme of like, how are we going to take that learning, that knowledge back into our relationships present day? And so again, just heralding the time for change. I don't know why I keep saying that keeps coming to me for some reason. So that's why I like to start off with these energy cleansings, just kind of set the tone, set the vibe for the reading. It's a great way to cleanse out some of the tension, limitation, confusion, restriction that we might be coming into. It's also a really good time to set your own intention for the reading, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over, be open to receive. It's a great way to personalize these collective readings. And I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing, wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how things are faring specifically for you, or if you're just looking for more of a rebalancing of mind, body, soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're in alignment, when we're operating from that space of grounding and, you know, knowing what we want, awareness, i.e. awareness, right? Then we're more likely to bring in happiness, fulfillment, choose things that are actually good for us, that actually are going to sustain long term. All that info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. Definitely hit me up, Pisces, if you're interested. I would love to connect, say hey, support in whatever way possible. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love, Mama Love. All right. I think that's like the first time I got through the blessing with the new mic that it didn't look like a shit show. All right, let's get into. So I feel like, you know, I'm hearing for you, Pisces, like there's something like that has been bringing up a lot of emotion. I know I kind of just talked about this, but I'm feeling, 100%. The Tower and the Grave just popped out for you. So endings are on the horizon and we're preparing ourselves for them. And I feel like some of these endings, even though you are ready and willing to embrace the new, step out into new life, end some cycles that just haven't been serving you, or, you know, I feel like this is something that you were really investing in, that you thought it was going to be, that it was going to have some longevity behind it. And things have changed. You're understanding that now, but there is some grief that you're still working through. All that to say, like, I feel like you're putting on a really brave face, but underneath it's like you just kind of want to fall apart, cry, feel those feels, you know, hole yourself up for a few days, whatever that looks like for you. There is this desire to really kind of like nurture yourself, is what I'm hearing. But for some reason, you feel like you have to put on a brave face. That makes a lot of sense. Confirmation with the bear. The bear is representative of mama love, you know, that need that we all have to nurture ourselves, essentially, right? To make sure that we're validating, that we're supporting, that we're taking care of our heart. That's not an easy thing to do in modern culture, right? Like, we often look away from our feelings, or especially the ones that are harder, the ones that maybe you were trying to avoid in the past. It does look like you've covered some things up. And I'm hearing this is more like hiding things from yourself, using your mind versus your heart, right? Like, to make those decisions, to kind of justify or convince yourself of what you needed to do. But you're at this point where, like, it just hasn't worked. And I think because whether you proactively brought this awareness to yourself or life just kept showing you over and over and over again, it's very hard to deny 100%, especially with the black cat. The black cat, I think this is almost like something that, a choice that you had to make based on your intuition and instincts. Like, things in present time weren't necessarily matching up with what you were sensing, with what you were feeling. Someone was really good at manipulating or hiding or saying the right thing at the right time when they needed. It's not like they made your life easy. I don't necessarily get that vibe, because I feel like I'm hearing for some of you, like, they made you go through a lot. There was a lot of testing in this relationship, a lot of like lack of trust, lack of belief. Maybe certain parties were coming from some betrayal in the past and like penalizing you for those things. This could be someone that you were like kind of seeking, or once upon a time offered a sense of stability and support, but it kind of feels like you've had to step in. And I mean, I think that's just life in general, right? Like, we all have to take care of ourselves first. And unless you are a child, then, you know, you are responsible. Unfortunately, most times we can't look for those things in other people. Yes, it's fabulous when relationships give us that sense of that extra boost of empowerment, encouragement. But at the end of the day, like, we are with ourselves alone, right? Sorry, my little tangent. But just to say, like, I feel like, you know, especially with you being a water sign, Pisces, you're more apt to dive into the feeling and emotion, right? To use that as your connection point. But I think it's gotten you caught in a pickle in the past. And so you taking the rational approach, the quote unquote rational approach, or what seemed to make sense, disconnected you from your heart. And places where you were constantly just trying to push something away, avoid something, not acknowledge something, the more, like I said, life kept showing it back to you. And you're in a place where you're finally ready to connect again. I feel like you're still on the heels of some ending, right? There's still some things that are closing out, or maybe you're just kind of holding on to certain situations, people, energetically. It's been a rough go, you know, and obviously these are collective readings. Everyone's going to resonate differently with how intense some of the difficulties have been. But realistically, there's just been a lot in the collective for a hot minute, and kind of for a long time, you know. I mean, we could even push this back to 2020 when, you know, things fell apart, etc. We're still kind of dealing with the reverberations of that. And I'm seeing that specifically because Pluto moved into Aquarius. That's a huge cycle shift, right? It rules generations, decades of life. And so we're entering into this new phase of time. And I feel like you're following suit. Certain aspects of your life are following suit with that, 100%. It's been hard, though. It's been hard to kind of make some changes. It's been hard to believe in the best after being treated in a certain way. I feel like some of this you had to step away from to kind of regain your own sanity is what I'm hearing. I don't think this is all over, and I feel like that's part of the hesitancy around you right now, because you're not completely grounded in the new quite yet. And I feel like with this black cat, there are going to be things that are popping up to really kind of solidify some of these changes. Someone is feeling remorseful. I think, honestly, they didn't really see how bad maybe they were acting, behaving. They're having a lot more clarity around this because it looks like there's communication. It looks like some of this stuff that maybe you were trying to pretend didn't affect you is actually coming to the surface. Communications, lots of conversations, or just things coming out in conversation because you've been working so hard to like bottle it all up, but you can't avoid it. And here's the thing, I don't think that like whomever, whatever you're dealing with it necessarily likes it, but they're still open. They're still open to some level of, can we fix this? Can we work it out? And you in turn, I don't know, I don't feel like you're as focused on that. I feel like there's a lot of you that's just like, this is already tainted. This is already kind of, you know, this vibe of like, it's just not serving us, or it's not what is going to it just doesn't resonate. It just doesn't vibe anymore. It was there for a period of time, but I think 100% confirmation with the world. As you're seeing these closures kind of happen, it's also highlighting all these places in the past where you maybe were getting these little red lights, you know? Red lights. Red flags. Could be a red light, you know, stop, or well, no, I won't go down that path. We'll keep it above board. You know, okay. I don't know. Someone wants to put the responsibility on you. Someone's saying it's your fault. Someone's saying it's how you're seeing things. I feel like whomever you're communicating with, you're not taking responsibility any longer for some of this stuff. Like in the past, this was someone who could blame you and get away with it. But now you're finally in this place where it's like, no, this is just like how I feel. Like, this is what I think. This is what I feel. And as they're trying to like bully you into submission on some level, and this is more with words, communication, twisting the narrative, twisting the story, maybe even a little bit of gaslighting, depending on who and what you're dealing with. This is a toxic energy, or potential to be toxic. Someone who isn't, I would say, like, not honest, but not honest because they don't even have that level of self-awareness that you're asking them to have. And I feel like this has been something that's like been brewing underneath the surface for some time, but for whatever reason, like, you're giving them this level of credit, probably because you've done it for so long, probably because you're used to it, probably because you do love this person. And that's almost where this like strength component comes into play. That's why this is so hard, because you love this person. And when we love people, quote unquote, that value, love is blind, right? You know, it's so easy to dismiss someone's bad behavior when we care about them. And not good, bad, right, or wrong. We all do it, right? And it's not like, I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. I'm not super concerned about you is what I'll say, Pisces, because you do know your boundaries and you do have your boundaries set. And I feel like they're set enough to a point where you will stick with them. That's part of that restriction I was feeling in the very beginning, that part of you that wants to cry, that almost it's like you want your heart to be able to go after what it wants, but you know that whatever this is not good for you. It's not good for you. And the more that you're willing to invest in the changes, the more it's going to become apparent of like why you're walking away from this 100%. It's trust in the process, right? Trusting your intuition, believing yourself, validating yourself, because it is something that you're looking at long term, right? Like, how is this going to affect me long term? What you're dealing with right now is short term, right? It's there, or it's already run its course, and you know that. And that's that part of you where needs to, yes, look at the future, look at how this is going to play out for you in the future if you continue to engage, if you continue to interact, but also this value of seeking out the new and not blocking yourself. I feel like sometimes because, and we're seeing this all across the board in the collective, like because we're letting the past people, past karmas, retrogrades, rehash stuff, people come back out of the woodwork, we thought we were done and over with it, etc., etc. And it does create these blocks. It reestablishes these energetic connections, and then it kind of creates these blocks for us to like let go, release situations that really just aren't our vibe anymore. But Spirit's saying to trust your instincts, trust what you've set for yourself, continue to follow through. You do have the strength to implement your boundaries, and you know, it's gonna reveal a lot. Right now, they don't want you to see the full story, but as you stand your ground, it's gonna reveal a lot. So thank you so much for your time, energy. Always, Pisces, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you found messages that resonated for you here. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I love to say hey, or just share in a little love, a little TLC. I so appreciate all the love, all the support that you bring to the channel. Know I'm sending it back your way.